Good afternoon and welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite is Ben Jones. He's a Senior Analyst over at Nasdaq Dorsey, Wright. We're going to learn about managed accounts. Thanks, Ben, for joining us over at the MarketSite today. So tell us what an SMA and a UMA are and what other terms should investors be aware of?
Right, so SMA stands for Separate Managed Accounts and UMAs, Unified Managed Accounts. And think about SMAs, they're essentially investment portfolios, basically a collection of stocks or bonds that are professionally managed. They're often kind of viewed as mutual funds, but what's different about SMAs is that all the positions are held individually. The investors own and hold those positions. Unified Managed Accounts, or UMAs, they're essentially a collection of investments as well. Typically they include mutual funds, ETFs, stocks, bonds, you name it. But they're pooled in one account. And so you can have a collection of different model portfolios or SMAs all in one account that you don't have with the traditional SMA or mutual funds or ETFs.
What's the problem with SMA performance right now?
Yeah, so really with performance, I mean, these strategies are doing well across the board, right? There are a lot of strategies that are outperforming the market, outperforming their benchmarks, but I really think the problem with the performance has to do with the way that it's reported and the way that investors can access it.
So where do investors go for performance-related data and benchmarking?
Yeah, so there's some fantastic third-party research providers out there that investors can go to, but they're typically catered to the institutions, the financial advisors, the professionals. So for the individual investors, it's very difficult to access clear, concise performance data outside of their performance statements or their accounts. So that's what NFN is trying to do, is essentially to provide clarity with that performance data really across Wall Street.
So there's thousands of strategies that are out there. Nasdaq has 8. What's their focus?
Yeah, so the focus is identifying strength within markets, right? And they fall under the systematic relative strength brand through Nasdaq Dorsey, Wright. There are 8 strategies, 4 of which are targeting to the U.S. equities. There's an international strategy, global macro, fixed income, and they're all designed to really identify trends across different marketplaces, depending on their asset class, to meet their objective of the strategy. They're rules-based and they're systematic.
What are you hoping Nasdaq Fund Network can impact with DWA strategies? Yeah,
so really what we see is kind of 3 things, right? We see that they're going to help with transparency. They're going to help with clarity in investor performance, and ultimately set an industry standard for classifications, right? I mean, there is precedent in other investment products like mutual funds and ETFs with a taxonomy system. Basically, just the way that things are ordered and organized. You don't really find that within the SMA and UMA space, and so that's something that we hope and that we do see NFA bring to the table.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.